in the media conference with Lal Goel, which is brought to you by V4 News, Global TV, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV, News Gaon Se, Samvad Sarokar News, Organ Donation India Foundation and Gyan. Our endeavor is to enlighten you with the current topics. And today's our current topic is pink ball test. But before I will go to the current topic, I would like to inform you that today India is celebrating Vijay Divas. Vijay Divas was observed on 16th December across the nation to celebrate the India's military victory over Pakistan in the 1971 war. Vijay Divas commemorates the victory of the Indian Armed Forces and the Mukti Bahini in the Indo-Pak War, which culminate in the liberalization of Bangladesh, then East Pakistan on 16th December 1971, and the historic surrender of over 93,000 Pakistani soldiers. After the India's victory, Lieutenant General A.K. Niazi, Pakistani Army commander in the Eastern Command, was surrendered to the Indian Armed Forces, which led by then General Officer Commanding-in-Chief Lieutenant General Jagjit Singh Arora, and also signed the instrument of surrender that resulted in the birth of Bangladesh. The 1971 War of Indo-Pak was led by the Indian Army Chief General Sam Manekshaw. According to media reports, 3,900 Indian soldiers were martyred and 9,851 soldiers were injured in this war. After this India-Pakistan war, a new country was formed on the world map by the name of Bangladesh. Mrs. Indira Gandhi, the then Prime Minister of India, stood by the side of the people of Bangladesh from the beginning of the liberation war despite various adversities. She provided shelter to about 1 crore Bangladeshi refugees. Mrs. Gandhi provided courage in the liberation war by facing different diplomatic hurdles. Mrs. Gandhi's contribution to Bangladesh liberation war will be remembered forever. We pay our tributes to the martyrs who laid down their lives for the nation. Now coming to our main topic, that is pink ball test. On Thursday, December 17th, India and Australia will start a day and night test match for the first time. It will in fact be only the second test that India will be involved in a day and night test match after playing first test with a pink ball in 2019 against Bangladesh at the Eden Gardens, Calcutta. The pink ball was trialed in an England versus Australia women's ODI match in 2009. In January 2010, a first-class match between Guyana and Trinidad and Tobago was played with a pink ball in Antigua. In 2014, a full round of Sheffield Shield matches in Australia were played with a pink ball manufactured by Kookaburra. India experimented with day and night long form cricket as early as 1997. In that year, the Ranji Trophy final between Mumbai and Delhi was played under lights in Gwalior with a white ball. India, however, took to day and night test cricket very late. They declined Australia's offer to play day and night test in Adelaide on their 2018-19 tour. They were the 9th test playing nation to play test with the pink ball under lights when they hosted Bangladesh at the Eden Gardens last year. India won that match by an inning and 46 runs in 3 days. The first ever day and night test match was played between Australia and New Zealand in November 2015 in Adelaide. Australia won that match by 3 wickets on day 3. Kookaburra, who manufacture cricket balls for all countries barring India, England, Ireland, and the West Indies, experimented with yellow and bright orange before there was a consensus on color pink. The reason the red ball was not used for day and night tests is because it was very difficult to pick the red ball under lights. It is easier to spot the pink ball under lights compared to the red ball. The white ball, meanwhile, was not preferred because it is not durable enough for test cricket. The core of all the cricket balls, red, white, and pink, is the same. For the pink balls, the leather is coated with a pink pigment. The pink ball usually tends to swing more in the initial part of a match. The Kookaburra pink ball has a black seam. Kookaburra first used a dark green and white seam. They later changed it to a black seam for the pink ball. Steve Smith, who was involved in the very first day and night test versus New Zealand, had said that the seam had to be more visible. Kookaburra shifted to a black seam in 2016. The pink cricket ball has an extra coating of lacquer to maintain the color and shine longer than the red ball. The India cricket team are currently touring Australia from November 2020 to January 2021 to play 4 tests, 3 one-day international ODIs and 3 2020 international matches. They already played 3 one-day internationals and 3 2020 international matches. Australia won ODI series by 2-1. India won 2020 national 2-1. Now 4 tests will be played. And the first test will be played day and night with pink ball from tomorrow, that is December 17 to December 21st at Adelaide. The second test will be from December 26th to December 30th at Melbourne. And the third test from January 7 to 11 at Sydney. And the final 4th test will be from January 15 to January 19 at Brisbane. And as of now, as the latest tally of the points, number 1 team, this tally, the points table is as on 14th December 2020. That is 2 days back. The Australia is number 1 with 296 points. India is number 2 with 360 points, and so on. So although India has won the 7 matches, and they also Australia also won the 7 matches. They lost 2 matches. Australia also lost 2 matches, but Australia had 1 drawn. India has no drawn, but India has played 4 series while Australia has played only 3 series. Now, to discuss about tomorrow's test, because it's a day and night, and India is playing for the first time in Australia, as well as it's the pink ball. We have a very elite, experienced, learned panel with us. I would like to invite my first guest, and he is Mr. Surendra Khanna. Mr. Khanna is the member of the Indian Premier League IPL Governing Council. Mr. Surendra Khanna is the former Indian cricket player. When the selectors decided to drop Syed Kirmani for the tour of England in 1979, Mr. Khanna was given the big break. He was the designated wicketkeeper for India in the 1979 World Cup. He played in all the 3 World Cup games. He was in the Indian cricket team for the 1984 Asia Cup held at Sharjah. He scored half centuries in low-scoring encounters against Sri Lanka and Pakistan. India won the tournament, and Mr. Surendra Khanna was named man of the series. He was a member of the Indian team that went to Pakistan in October the same year. That was his last international tournament. Between 1991 1992, he was a professional for Stewart's Melville Royal High CC in Edinburgh. During the 1991 season, he scored 1,098 runs at an average of 91.5. And nowadays, he is a cricketing expert of All India Radio, Doordarshan, as well as on media conference with Lal Goel. Welcome, Mr. Surendra Khanna on our show. Mr. Surendra Khanna, just turn your mobile like this because you will be seen fully. If you just turn, make it at horizontal. Yes, very nice. Just make your face a bit, because it's going up. Hand, correct. Thank you very much. So, Mr. Surendra Khanna, I have read the details about the pink ball, about the first test, and all those details whatsoever I can get from the details available on Google and other on the net. But you being the person who played the India international matches. You are the person who are always in the helm of the cricket associations, as well as you are also in the governing body of IPL, and you were there for the entire duration of IPL, and you watched all the players very, very closely, Indians as well as all those who have played in IPL from Australia. And we have already discussed about the one-day match and the 2020 series also. Now, tomorrow, the first cricket match is going, test cricket match is starting. So we would like to know from you about the tomorrow's test match, which is a day and night, which is going to be played for the first time in Australia, with Australia, by India by pink ball. Mr. Surendra Khanna, please.
Good morning, Lal Sahab. Good morning, Kanishka. Arjeet, very good morning. It's 4 degrees in Vasant Kunj, and probably in my house, it's minus. It's freezing cold. And Indians and Australian cricketers must be feeling the heat in Australia. It's 40-degree plus over there. It's peak summer, and it can be very, very hot because, like you feel the heat when you're on the equator line in Patna or nearby places. The sun shines right from the top, and it could be very, very warm. But we are playing day and night test match. So first couple of hours will be very crucial when it's twilight. In that light, the ball swings a lot, this pink ball, and it becomes difficult to pick in that particular light. And that is where the batsman faces the problem. Bowlers have a ball. The thick seam on the ball, extra coating helps them, and there is extra grass on the wicket as well when they play the pink test match. They keep an X amount of grass so that the ball doesn't land on the surface, which normally is, so that it loses its color and shine. So to retain the color, X amount of grass is retained on the wicket. That is what they have been doing in the past, and I'm sure they must be continuing with it because it's early days for pink ball cricket. Not many test matches have been played with the pink ball. We had, I was the coach of the Delhi team when we played the day and night finals against Mumbai in Gwalior. You mentioned in your chat, and Mumbai scored about 740 odd runs, and we were very close. We scored about 728 or something like that. The match went into the 6th or 7th day, and the first innings had to be completed. And Mumbai bowled negative for 2 days. They had the wicket keeper on the leg side, 7 fielders on the leg side, whereas we never bowled a single ball negative in that match. At one stage, chasing 740, we were 470 for 2. And that is when Manjrekar and Balwinder Sandhu decided to use those tactics. And our umpires in the match, they never gave it wide, or that was intentional bowling outside the leg stump. But not to discuss that now after so many years. That showed Mumbai cricket in poor light in that finals. The recordings are there on the Doordarshan for anybody if they want to question what I'm telling them, because I was present on the ground. And as far as the Indian team is concerned, conditions you only come to when you announce your first 11 first. Both the teams are not sure because of lack of form of certain players and fitness levels not being very good. India, if we are missing Rohit Sharma for lack of communication, lack of form is there, we are not certain who will open the batting for India. If you see Australia, they're struggling. Warner with a hamstring, Okoski he was hit on the head and concussion. Then Burns is out of form, and so on and so forth. The youngsters haven't shown much promise, Harris and the other guy. But eventually, we'll have the first 11 when they go for the toss tomorrow. Considering the pink ball matches have not lasted 5 days, if I'm correct. I don't remember. We played Bangladesh at the Eden Gardens, and about 6 months back or 8 months back, and the bowlers had a ball over there, the seam bowlers especially, and the batsmen from both the teams were struggling. It was only when the ball was 30, 40 overs old, they were able to come to terms with it. Otherwise, even the old ball created trouble. If the bowlers were hitting the seam, hitting the deck, putting in their body and shoulder, which Australians will be doing. So our batsmen will have to be very, very careful. And the captain Kohli, he will be very, very vital cog in India's batting. We always want the openers to give a good start, be it batting or bowling. Our bowling unit is excellent. They are all raring to go, as they did the last time when India won. In one test match, Virat Kohli played 4+1 additional 5 bowlers, fast bowlers, and we won the series. But we'll have to be careful, Lal Saab, here, because Australians would be wanting to avenge the defeat which India gave them last time in Australia. So they have been playing good cricket, and their youngsters also, those who played in the T20 or one days, they showed a lot of promise. But I'm sure it will be a very keenly contested test match. And I would say we'll start on 50-50. Seeing the main players in Australian team will be missing due to injury.
Thank you, Mr. Surendra Khanna, for giving your views, opening remarks. And Mr. Khanna has given a very good, knowledgeable and enlightening thing to say that because of the pink ball, they have the grass, more grass than usual in the pitch, so that the ball will not lose its shine early. Otherwise, the ball loses its shine. And secondly, he said the pink ball is very difficult to play during this day and night thing, and that's why those test matches which has taken place, they generally finish in 3 days or so. And that is his experience, what he has seen and observed. And he says the condition in Australia is 50-50 because they have a good lineup, but the Australians have some injuries, and that's why the Indian team has to see to it that they will get and they will win the match if they can encash, because the Australia is all out to take the revenge of the last defeat, where the under the leadership or the captainship of Virat Kohli, the India defeated Australia in the Test series in 2018-19. Thank you very much, Mr. Surendra Khanna, for giving your opening remarks. Now, I would like to invite my next guest, and he is Wing Commander Arjeet Ghosh. The Wing Commander Arjeet Ghosh is the former Ranji Trophy cricketer, served in the Indian Air Force for 24 years. He commanded 4 Air Force units holding sensitive appointments at the top of the line fighter bases close to the Indian border, both in the Northeast and in the Western Desert. He is qualified coach from the BCCI National Cricket Academy. He was BCCI match referee for domestic matches. Wing Commander Ghosh is former Secretary, Air Force Sports Board. He was closely associated with the conduct of sports events like the Military World Games and Commonwealth Games as Chief of the Mission of Indian Armed Forces Sports Contingents at Military World Championship overseas. He was the Asian representatives on jury of appeal drawn from the 4 continents at Military World Championship. He was the chief operating officer of one of the biggest and best boarding schools of the country, where he also headed an academy of sporting excellence for young children with 35 trained sports coaches, including foreign coaches. His achievements are: he played 5 seasons of Ranji Trophy between 1987 to 88 and 1994 to 95. One amongst a handful of brothers who hold an international record of having scored hundreds together in the same innings of a first-class match. He captained the Indian Air Force cricket team. He represented the East Zone Universities team in the Vizzy. Welcome, Wing Commander Arjeet Ghosh. So, Wing Commander Arjeet Ghosh, you have heard what Mr. Khanna has mentioned about the day and night cricket test series, as well as pink ball, as well as he has mentioned, because you belongs to Bengaluru, he mentioned that he has scored 2 centuries in the final of Delhi versus Karnataka, and in which the players like Prasanna and Chandrasekhar were playing, and he won, the Delhi won for the first time. Now, we would like to know from you, Wing Commander Arjeet Ghosh, about the tomorrow's test match, which is going to start with the pink ball, and India is playing for the first time in Australia with the pink ball at Adelaide. Wing Commander Arjeet Ghosh, please.
Good morning, Lal Sahab. Good morning, Surendra Khanna sir. Good morning, Kanishka ma'am. Pleasure as usual to be on the show with all of you once again, and always a pleasure to hear from Surendra Khanna sir. His views are always original, and it's always a pleasure to listen to him. And to all the viewers, a very warm welcome and a very happy Vijay Divas. As Lal Sahab mentioned right at the beginning, this was the day when the surrender, and it's a pleasure to remember the people who laid down their lives on this day, and to remember them once again. So, having said that, coming to the topic under discussion today, the test match, the test series is about to begin, and we've all been looking forward to this test series so much for so long, because regardless of what anyone says, ultimately the real thing is the test matches. So you may have so many T20s, you may have so many ODIs, but the real test of your technique, the real test of your character, the real test of your mental strength, that comes in a test match. And this is what every cricketer who's played the game looks forward to. And it's a huge honor to play for your country, as Khanna sir will, I'm sure, back me on that. And to play in a test match for India would be the ultimate dream for any young cricketer who picks up a cricket bat or starts to bowl or whatever. So this is the moment of reckoning now for India, and we start this series with a pink ball test at Adelaide, and traditionally over the last few years, from 2015 onwards, Adelaide has become the de facto traditional center for the pink ball test matches in Australia. The first one, as you mentioned, Lal Sahab, was in 2015 against New Zealand. And pink ball test matches, again, there have been 11 of them so far. This is a 12th one, which is coming up now. And 5 of them have ended within 4 days, including 3 which finished within 3 days and 1 which finished in 2 days. So pink ball test matches generally, at least these 5 matches which I mentioned, they have been low scoring affairs. In the first test match against New Zealand in 2015, neither team was able to score more than 225 in each innings, in each of those 4 innings. So generally, in a pink ball match, the bowlers, especially the fast bowlers, they definitely have an advantage. As Khanna sir mentioned, the ball swings a lot because of the extra, polish, lacquer, call it what you will, and also the extra amount of grass which is there on the wicket to preserve that shine on the ball. Because what otherwise happens is that the color goes off very quickly if it is continuously landing on a hard, dry surface, if the grass were not to be there on the wicket. And then it becomes very difficult to spot the ball in the night. Even with the color, with the shine, it, as Khanna sir mentioned, especially during the twilight hours, it's very difficult for the batsman. And it actually, the funny thing is that once the lights come on, the ball actually starts to swing more, even if it is old by then. So typically what happens is that you have a mid-afternoon start at around 3 o'clock local time. So even tomorrow's match, they're starting at around 2:30, I think, local time. So their darkness will tend to fall typically at around 6:37 or so. So there'll be about 3.5 hours of cricket before that. And the lights will typically come on from, say, about 4:30, 5 o'clock or so local time. And once the lights come on, the probably the light reflecting off the added shine of the ball, that creates that leads to the ball starting to swing more. So even though the ball is by then probably around 30 overs old, but the ball actually starts swinging more than what it was doing when the ball was new, when the match started. So that's a very funny thing which happens with pink ball matches. And therefore if you're unlucky enough to go into bat at that stage, when the ball is swinging more, you are always at a disadvantage, and that has been reflected time and again in the score lines of the various test matches that have been played so far. But having said that, there have been test matches in Dubai, where also in England, where teams have actually scored 400 plus in a test match, in a pink ball test match, day-night test match. And in fact, the Pakistan captain Azhar Ali, he scored a triple century at Dubai in a day-night pink ball test match. So there are both sides to it, but then in Australia so far, generally whatever they played about 5 matches there, and they have 100% all-win record in day-night test matches. So Australia, they played 5 day-night matches, they won all 5 of them. So there the scores have generally been not very high, not very great scores. Although they have been they have been players who scored hundreds there as well. So all in all, it looks looks interesting. And whoever is going to win the toss, if they're batting first, the openers have to lay a strong foundation, which is the same in every match, actually speaking. But here it is more important because they have to see the shine off. They have to play right up till in a normal test match you would say that you play up till lunch without losing a wicket, the first session of play. Here it is actually up to dinner because you start in the mid-afternoon and the first session ends with the dinner break in between. So ideally speaking, till dinner, whoever is, whichever side is batting first, they would not look to losing a wicket and lay a strong foundation through the openers, which is where test cricket is so different from the other forms of cricket, where the idea is to get scoring right from the first ball onwards. So here, if I think of what Jeff Boycott used to say, he said that in a test match, the first session belongs to the bowler and I give it to him. I don't play any shots. He in fact once famously said that I never square cut before lunch. So on the opening day of a test match. And then once you get set, once that opening session is gone, once the ball stops swinging, and you are well settled, your feet are moving, you're seeing the ball well, and you're there mentally on the ground. That's when you start playing your shots. So that's a typical test match innings. You play yourself in, you might bat for 2 hours to play yourself in, score 30-40 runs in that time, and then after those 2 hours have gone and you are feeling comfortable at the wicket, that's when you start playing your shots, and then you go on to play a long innings. But then that also has changed to a large extent, and we have now a lot of cricketers who've scored hundreds before lunch in a test match on the first day. So Virendra Sehwag is one example. So there are people who are scoring hundreds in maybe 130 minutes or 140 minutes, which was never the case earlier. Now, so it remains to be seen. But then with the pink ball, the degree of difficulty for a batsman would always be high. The comfort level for the pace bowlers would always be good because of the extra grass, because of the extra movement in the air, and because the shine remains on the ball. The pink ball, because it has that extra coating of lacquer, as you mentioned, the shine remains on the ball right through the first session. So which means that in a normal test match, in a normal day's match, I would say, the shine typically remains for the first hour or so. So which means about 15 overs, because you bowl 15 overs in an hour. So, but here in a pink ball test match, or in a pink ball match, basically, the shine, because of that extra coating of lacquer, that remains for almost the full the first session, which is 2 hours. So, which means that you would be having the shine for almost 30 overs, the first 30 overs, instead of 15 overs in a normal match. And then by the time those 30 overs are up, it is time for twilight, and the ball will again start swinging. So it's a difficult thing. It's a difficult thing to bat in a pink ball test match. No two ways about that. So that's going to happen here as well. And whichever side is batting first, it depends on how well they adjust to those conditions and the batsmen are able to play in. And as Khanna sir mentioned, there have been a lot of injuries, there have been a lot of ups and downs with the teams. There have been batsmen who've been out of form. There are batsmen who have not played cricket, test match cricket for a long time, long format cricket. So it looks very interesting, and it's difficult to predict as to what exactly is going to happen, because anything could happen. But on paper, if you look at the Indian team, the middle order looks absolutely fantastic. You've got Pujara coming in at number 3. You've got Virat Kohli at number 4. You've got Ajinkya Rahane at number 5. And then you would probably have Hanuma Vihari coming in at number 6, followed by the wicketkeeper, either Saha or Rishabh Pant at 7. So that's a very, very strong middle order. And but then, as was mentioned in the last show that we were at with you, Ajinkya Rahane, Cheteshwar Pujara, Hanuma Vihari, they've not played cricket for a long time. Although in the warm-up games, all 3 of them have done very well. Vihari has scored 100, Ajinkya Rahane has scored 100, and Pujara has scored a 50. So, I mean, it looks as if they are in form. But the fact is that was probably the only competitive match that they played in a long time. So you never know. But on paper, it looks very strong. And Virat Kohli is, of course, in great form. And then if you talk about the openers, the Indian openers, in this test match, I think probably, it's my personal opinion, it will probably be KL Rahul opening along with either Mayank Agarwal or Shubman Gill, in my opinion again. And then once Virat Kohli comes back after this test match, there would be a vacancy there. So probably both Mayank Agarwal, Shubman Gill, and Prithvi Shaw, 2 of them will then fit into that batting order at the top. So, but in this test match, it looks like KL Rahul opening along with either Gill or Mayank Agarwal. And both of them have got runs in the warm-up games. Shubman Gill actually did very well in the second game. He's got runs in both the innings. And Mayank Agarwal also got a good 61 in the second game. So our batsmen are, they've had a good time in the middle. They've had a good hit. People have scored hundreds. Compared to that, the Australians have had nothing actually out of those 2 matches that were played, those 2 India-Australia A games that were played, especially the second one. The Australian batsmen, none of them actually, the ones who are in contention for a place in the test side, none of them actually were able to really, do well in those matches. And so that has led to a lot of, a lack of confidence, I would say, because especially with the youngsters, and there have been injuries. Both the 2 young players who were supposed to make their debuts in this test match, Will Pucovski and Cameron Green, both of them suffered concussion injuries. So it's not sure. Pucovski is not going to play, definitely. Cameron Green will probably play. Reports are that he seems to be okay. So he will probably make his test debut tomorrow. And but then the others, namely, as Khanna sir mentioned, Joe Burns at the top of the order. He's not crossed 10 runs in the 4 innings that he's played in these 2 games. And so whether the selectors will go with him at all and give him another chance to play in that test match, in tomorrow's test match or not, is something which is open to doubt. But again, if I were to make a guess, I would say that probably Australia will open with Marcus Harris and Matthew Wade, in my opinion. I don't know. And I mean, going by the form in which Joe Burns has been in the last 8 or 10 matches that he has played, it's difficult to see him in the playing 11. It would be a great, leap of faith by the Australian selectors if they were going to put him in the 11. Because I was reading somewhere yesterday, they said that, there's a saying in cricket which says that form is temporary, class is permanent. And it is believed that he's a classy player. So they're going with that probably thought, saying that his class will ultimately come through when he steps onto the big stage. But then his form has been atrocious in the last in this season, right from the first match of the season, from the Sheffield Shield games to the India A warm-up games. He's hardly scored 10 runs in an innings, as I said. So it's difficult to see him actually fitting into that top order, opening the innings. But then it might happen. Again, I'm no one to really, judge on that. And then obviously you'll have Manas Labuschagne and Steve Smith coming in the middle order, and probably the all-rounders Henriquez will probably get a game tomorrow, and the fast bowlers, obviously all three of them will be playing. So in my opinion, out of the batsmen that they have, probably Travis Head and Joe Burns, they would be sitting out. And the Cameron Green, if he's fit, will get a debut. And I think Henriquez will also play tomorrow. And as I said, Marcus Harris will probably be at the top of the order. So that's how it is, in my opinion. I was actually talking to a friend in Adelaide yesterday, and he mentioned that the weather is not actually as hot as Khanna sir mentioned, and they've had a few showers. And in fact, the forecast for tomorrow is also for intermittent showers. So you might have a few rain stoppages now and then. And then the temperatures are in the high 20s, so 28, 29 degrees, which is very comfortable. And the other thing about Adelaide is that that wicket is not a typically hard and bouncy Australian wicket. It is more like an Indian wicket. It actually is on the slower side. The ball sometimes keeps low on that wicket actually, and it spins from the third or fourth day onwards. It starts turning. So this is actually for India. It's a great test match. Great venue to make a start to a test match series, because the wicket here is almost like an Indian wicket, to which they're used to. Whereas a wicket at Perth or even Brisbane would be hard and bouncy, and it would be a difficult challenge to straight away go into that kind of a wicket. So it looks good from that point of view, that we are playing on a wicket that would probably suit the Indian batsman. And also, if we decide to play a spinner, which again, in my opinion, we should, instead of going in with 4 fast bowlers. In that case, we probably can look forward to some amount of turn from the end of the third day or fourth day onwards. So that's going to be that looks good from the Indian point of view. So I'm going with what Khanna sir said. I think it is pretty even at this stage, 50-50 again. But I would go to the extent of saying that probably if our batsmen step up, Chiteshwar Pujara scored 500 runs in the last series when we were there last time 2 years ago. Now, if he and the rest of that strong middle order which I mentioned, if they are able to replicate that, I think we could actually think of ourselves as being favorites, because with the injuries that Australia have had and people being out of form and all of that, their batting is heavily dependent on Manas Labuschagne and Steve Smith at this point of time, in my opinion. Again, obviously somebody from the youngsters can step up and start scoring runs heavily, but then if you go by what we've seen so far, these are the two batsmen that we actually need to watch out for. So if we are lucky with getting one of them out quickly, we might be on a very strong wicket. So I think
okay. Thank you very much, Wing Commander Ghosh. And Wing Commander Ghosh analyzed right from the pink ball and the conditions, how it was played, and how the test matches were very low scoring, and sometimes even the test match result were out in 2 days or 3 days. 1 or 2 has gone for 4 days. The rest, according to him, 2 days and 3 days. And he says that the reason is the swing. The ball takes swings, and because of the pink ball and the extra coating. And he says that it is not losing the shining. And because of the lights, when the lights comes on, turned on, then he's according to Wing Commander Ghosh, the ball start taking more swings. So it's a very, very tough thing for the batsman to face the bowlers, and the pink ball game, the test match, belongs to those who are doing good bowling or the team who is doing the very good batting. So basically, it's a game for the both bowlers as well as for the batsmen to show their ability and quality in this type of matches. And he has also mentioned the things from the Australian perspective side also. So he has given, as Mr. Surendra Khanna has given 50-50, but still he is having more chances, more bat for the Indian cricket team, because he feels that the Adelaide cricket ground, the conditions are, the wicket is more or less like India. Thank you very much, Wing Commander Ghosh, for giving your views. I would like to now invite Kanishka Tyagi. Ms. Tyagi, Advocate Tyagi, is a sports law expert and sports anchor. She is a practicing lawyer and a radio personality. Advocate Tyagi is currently heading Business Strategies Department of Legum Amicus, a young dynamic law firm based at Delhi. She, after graduating from Campus Law Center, Delhi University, worked with a couple of law firms in Delhi. She joined Caden Boris, a global law firm, as partner in 2011. As a radio anchor, Advocate Kanishka has been presenting sports shows during major sports events, including Delhi Commonwealth Games, Cricket World Cup 2019, and other major sports events. Besides, Advocate Kanishka has been a regular contributor to law magazines and journals, and a regular speaker and guest faculty at conferences, seminars, law colleges, and has addressed a wide variety of audiences at various platforms on corporate legal issues. Being a sports enthusiast, Advocate Kanishka has a special interest in sports law and has worked with a number of sports persons, federations, and leagues in sports-related legal issues. Welcome, Advocate Kanishka Tyagi, on our show. Advocate Tyagi, you have heard what our Mr. Surendra Khanna as well as Wing Commander Ghosh has mentioned about the tomorrow's cricket test match that is going to be played by the pink ball through, and they have analyzed, and according to both of them, the chances are 50-50. Now you are very closely associated, although legally also, as well as a anchor also. So you have a dual personality, I must say, because sports legal expert and as a sports anchor is a very rare phenomena. So now, and you are watching the cricket very closely as you were doing the commentary or the presenting the sports shows, especially with the World Cup 2019, which has held recently. So in that view, what is your view about the tomorrow's India-Aussies cricket test, first test, which is going to be played in the pink ball for the first time, day and night, in Australia, at against Australia? Advocate Kanishka Tyagi, please.
Thank you very much. And I really thank you, Mr. Goel, for those kind words. And I'm honored to be part of this esteemed panel where former cricketer, legendary cricketer, Mr. Surendra Khanna is also part of this panel, and Wing Commander Arjeet Ghosh, both of them. I thank both of them from bottom of my heart to allow me to be sharing this panel with them and to voice my views on tomorrow's test match. And to start with, both of them have already summarized the conditions, everything about players, injuries that teams are grappling with, absence of few important players for both the teams. However, I would like to mention or comment here from someone's perspective who's an outsider to the game. I have not played cricket, but I'm an ardent follower of the game of cricket, like the crores and crores of Indians who just love cricket. And cricket, it is always said that cricket is another religion in India. Well, to talk about pink ball, we all know why pink ball was started, because cricket fraternity felt that the numbers of people who are coming to watch test match cricket, either in the stadiums or the people who are watching the game of cricket from the comfort of their homes on their TV screens or on streaming platforms, that number has been on decline for quite a few years, because people now wish to see more aggressive cricket, and a shorter version of cricket, which is T20 and one-day internationals. So with that ethos, with that kind of objective, that let's increase the number of viewership and let's increase the interest of people at large in this form of cricket, which is always said to be the real test of the capability and skill set of a cricketer. Day and night matches were started, and with those day and night matches, it was felt the need to look for the right color of ball which can be spotted well during the hours when cricket is played under lights. And that is why it was arrived at, a conclusion was arrived that pink color would be the best color which can be sighted well by bowler and the batsman alike, and also the fielder when they have to catch the ball and field the ball in the field. So we all know why it was started. However, I do not have any statistics with me to just give you an idea whether pink ball test or day and night matches have actually increased the interest of people or not. But I do have a very small statistic or a very small figure about the first pink ball test that India played against Bangladesh last year. That match was watched on the first day, on the very first day. That match was watched by more than 43 million people, which is the most viewership for a test match on the first day of the match. So it obviously achieved the objective of increasing some sort of interest. And now also India will play its second pink ball test. When now also there is a lot of hype about pink ball. Everybody, even the cricket lovers, sports websites, TV channels, news channels, everybody is discussing how will India fare in its second test against Australia in Australia while playing with pink ball. As opposed to India, Australia is far more experienced side in terms of playing more number of games which have been played, test matches which have used pink ball. They've played so far 7 matches and India has played only 1. So I would say whatever I've seen, whatever I've learned from interacting with cricketers like Khanna sir over the years, that to a cricketer, when a cricketer enters the ground to play, when a cricketer is in the field, it does not matter to a focused cricketer whether a pink ball is being used, whether the match is being played during the daytime or at night, or who's bowling, who's the side which is fielding, whether it's a very experienced side, someone like Australia, what are the conditions. They just focus on themselves, their own skills, and wish to give and try to give their best. That is what I've always seen and heard cricketers talk about, and that is what you see on the screens also when you watch any test match or any match for that matter. However, cricket is such an interesting game. It is a mix of your physical skills and also your mental skills, because there are so many factors which add to and which impact your performance on a one particular day. As Wing Commander explained in greater detail, that so and so the pitch will behave in certain way, the pink ball behaves in certain way during the twilight hours. So there are so many factors, not just you as an individual player, but so many factors which impact your performance. But at the end of the day, I feel that it is that day which matters. It is absolutely futile to compare sides and results and history and statistics. If we say that India won 2018-19 during the last series that India played at Australia, then there are a group of people who would counter that argument and say that 2 major players, Steve Smith and David Warner, were missing. So it's pointless to compare 2 sides, to compare an old times team with the current ones, because the challenges are different for this team. The conditions are different. The challenges are different in every era. In fact, 2 years or 1 year times is an era these days. One very crucial thing, which in my understanding is very important, is that this year was unprecedented in every field, including cricket. There was a huge lull. Most of the cricketers sat at home, just probably watching their old performances. So most of them who've come out to the field, who've got this opportunity to play after a long time, would be raring to go, would want to show that they can play. And players always love to be in the field. It is very difficult for a player to just sit at home and do nothing. When this opportunity is being given to them, then obviously they would want to play. However, as far as India is concerned, a lot of people are saying that India will be a weak side, slightly weaker side when Virat Kohli leaves Australia for his paternity leave. But we saw in the last series that India, the batsman who shone in the last series, that was Cheteshwar Pujara, who scored most runs. And I think India can do really well in the absence of skipper Virat Kohli also. Here's something I'm reminded of the paternity leave, and I would like to mention something which is not related to cricket. The fact that Virat Kohli would be going on paternity leave has been discussed not only by cricketers and cricket lovers, but it has, caused quite a stir in the corporate circles also. And this is being discussed by HR fraternity, by a lot of people in corporate circles, because this is a person who's followed by millions, who's a superstar cricketer, and he has, in this year when not a lot of cricket has been played, and he got a chance to play in Australia. Last year was successful for him. He could have stayed in Australia and could have played one more successful series, but he opted to go on paternity leave. A lot of people are very happy about it, that finally men are also taking things seriously and they wish to support their wives in their difficult time. In a way, it is difficult. It is life-changing experience for mothers. And a lot of people are also opposing it, that you should not give more weightage or more preference to your personal duties as opposed to your national duties. Because to represent India, to wear that name on your chest, on your jersey, that is something uncomparable and unimaginable for someone who's not represented India. So there are mixed views on this particular thing. However, I feel that Virat Kohli has done something really good because he's followed by so many people. It may become a trend, though it exists under the law, but it is not a trend in most of the organization. We may see that a lot of people opt for paternity leave, even in such pressure, in such demanding situations also, because he's the skipper and he's going for paternity leave. However, having said that, I'll come back to cricket. I also feel like Amanda mentioned, though it seems that both the sides are balanced, but I feel that India has slight edge. And when I say that, I'm taking into consideration the two games that we've played there with Australia A team. We've performed well, and none of the Australia player who are in the contention of being in the playing 11 they failed to impress with their bat or ball. However, India, in contrast to Australia A players, Indian players fared really well and performed really well. Now the dilemma before the Indian captain and the Indian selectors, or whoever the think tank is, would be who to include in playing 11. Would they go by history, by the performances of the players in the last series that was played in Australia, which India managed to win? Will they go by the recent performances? Will they go by the form of the players? That remains to be seen. I'm sure whatever the combination is chosen, we have enough options. We have really talented player, and not just talented, who have shown that they can handle pressure. Even the youngsters also who are there are very promising. And I also think that India has slight edge over Australia.
Okay, thank you. India has had a slight edge over Australia, says Advocate Kanishka Tyagi. Advocate Kanishka Tyagi has also said that she has analyzed, and she mentioned that the pink ball, why the pink ball started, because the footfall in the test matches gone down drastically in comparison, because of the popularity gained by the one day as well as the T20 internationals. And she mentioned about the matches, and she says, although she can't give the figures, but she says that whether these matches could get the more and more crowd or not. I would like to inform viewers as well as Advocate Tyagi that Eden Garden, there was a crowd of 60,000 who watched that match. The only grievances of the crowd was they wanted to see a quality match for 5 days. But because it was over and it was very, very low scoring, so that's why the crowd was bit disappointed, as you as well as all our Mr. Surendra Khanna and Wing Commander has mentioned, that it's not easy to play for 5 days in this match, but the crowd expect the worth for their tickets for 5 days, and that's why the crowd was disappointed. But otherwise, the crowd have started coming back because of the day and night thing, as well as more eyeballs for the relay on the televisions and the social media. Thank you. And Ms. Tyagi, Advocate Tyagi has also mentioned about the paternity leave of Virat Kohli, and she says someone were praising him and some were opposing him. Both the things are there, but according to her, this is a good thing which Virat Kohli has done. It shows that men now also take the paternity or the delivery is serious thing, and especially when the lady or the wife is facing that type of condition, the man has to be with her at that time. Thank you very much, Ms. Tyagi. And one more thing which she has said is she believes that it will be a 50-50, but still she gives the weightage to the Indian team. Thank you very much, Advocate Tyagi, for giving your views. Now I would like to go to Mr. Surendra Khanna. Advocate Tyagi has mentioned that we should not go for the past. We should not compare what has happened last or in the past. We should see the present. Now, if we will see the present, in the test ranking bowlings, which has come out as recently, I think it was declared yesterday by the ICC, there are 5 players in the test ranking in the top 10 are from Australia. And from India, only 2 players are there. And as you have mentioned, as a wing commander has mentioned, the ball plays a very big role because it's a pink ball. It is going to swing. And when they have 5 bowlers who are in the top ranking, and India is having only 2, and out of 2, one is a spinner. One is only Mr. Our Jasprit Bumrah is the pacer, the other is Ravichandran Ashwin, who is a spinner. So how you think this type of, under this condition, our batsmen, who are quality batsmen, very good batsmen, as you as well as both of our other panelists have mentioned, is going to face, because I'm not comparing what has happened the last set series, as Advocate Tyagi says, I'm just giving the figures of today. What is your opinion as an expert? You have faced, you've been a wicket keeper as well as a batsman, quality batsman. You have faced so many players, fast bowlers also. We would like to know from you how the wicket, how the conditions will be there tomorrow when they are going to face the quality bowlers who are in the international ranking, and especially with the pink ball. Mr. Surendra Khanna, please.
Well, Lal Saab, it's great to have Kanishka on the show. She's not only a girl, she is an avid cricket fan and follower. And she brings a different perspective. And Fauji mentioned about the Vijay Divas. I think it was a great victory for all of us. I was very young, 71, 88,000 of the Pakistani army men had to surrender. And it was a great thing. We all celebrate that. We cherish those memories and salute to our Indian Army forces, Navy, Air Force, as well as the Jawans. Now, coming to the point which Kanishka made about Virat Kohli taking paternity leave, I think Robinson is also following that. Initially, he had said, the New Zealand captain, one of the finest batsmen in the game, that he will play for New Zealand. Now, at the last minute, he said that he'll be with his wife when they are expecting their first child. Well, it comes to being responsible, yes. We have seen how Sachin Tendulkar, when he lost his dad, he came for a day and played the test match. The one day, the World Cup, he was there in. And there have been many instances where Virat Kohli lost his dad and he was playing Ranji Trophy in Delhi as well. He played and then went to the funeral after that by doing his duty. So we all know about Virat that he has been a fantastic cricketer, a fantastic son to his mother and father, and a great captain India has got. That a lot of people follow him for his approach, the humanly approach, not only when he's playing aggressively, but also when it comes to following the traditions, the responsibilities, which as a husband, as a son, he does it with style and grace that many people all over the world would like to emulate and follow him. Having said that, I would come to this business of this pink ball, white ball, and red ball. ये आपके हाथ में हुनर है. Scoring runs is an art, like scoring, taking wickets is an art. A lot of people who play cricket, wicket keepers, those who excel, or lawyers in their profession, or any professional in his or her profession. If someone is rated as the best, like Harish Salve at the moment, if we talk about lawyers, Kanishka will agree, there are many more, but his name stands out, like it was Ramjit Malani earlier on. And in cricket, we have had names all over the world. Why they stand out? Because despite the degree of difficulty, despite the grass on the wicket, if I talk about cricket, see Steve Smith, for 8 months, 10 months, the entire world was sitting at home, not playing any cricket. But he gets 100 of 62 balls, not once, twice, against a potent Indian attack. Virat Kohli gets runs consistently. So why you are great? Because you do things differently and you want to excel and you have that art कि आपने नेट में रियाज बहुत तगड़ा किया हुआ. Like I had mentioned once somewhere in my program that when I scored runs, I used to think then. I never thought about when I got a zero. उसमें सोचना क्या है? I got out for zero. I was never in. What to think about it? If I was out for 30, then I would have thought why I got out. So greats are greats because they do things differently and then they achieve success. And their consistency rates because they are focused in the present, not in the past. Past is in the history books against your name. Nobody can take it away. Present is what you are going to earn in the history books. So focus on that. And as a batsman, you focus on the ball, the seam of the ball when it leaves the bowler's hand. As a wicket keeper, you're doing the same. That when it leaves the bowler's hand, you're waiting for the ball, what it will do, the distance is going to travel, whether the batsman is going to miss it, nick it, and you have to catch it. And the slip fielder. So whether it swings, it does swing in England. It does swing, the new ball swings everywhere. So it's the technique, the temperament, the staying power. T20, too much of T20 and one-day cricket. The technique of the batsman all over the world has gone for a toss. There are very few batsmen who are technically equipped and have the patience and aptitude to stay at the crease. If a bowler bowls 4 or dot balls, even in Test match cricket, we have seen the best of batsmen playing a stroke. For example, T20, fine. Virat Kohli stepped out and there was a short ball which was miles away from him and he chased it to get out, caught behind or caught in the slips in the last T20. Now, Virat Kohli, one of the finest batsmen in the world, he could have easily left it and we could have got a wide or a no ball. But this is what concentration, staying power, and mentally tightening up to the different days cricket, 90 overs a day. How long can you stay at the crease? Grind the bowlers, tire them out, see the swing. We all know beforehand the pink ball swings. Now, our openers, their job primarily should be to see the new ball off, the shine off. But that's not happening. We see the openers playing T20 cricket in test matches as well. Well, I'm saying that my style of play was to hit from the first ball. Whether I played 5-day cricket, there wasn't T20 then. There wasn't even one-day cricket then when I used to hit from the first ball. But with the same style, I could get hundreds in Ranji Trophy, Duleep Trophy as well, or any grade of cricket, because I had molded myself on that. Then Shrikant, he did the same 3 years later. Farooq Engineer did that 10, 15 years before me. I modeled myself on Engineer Saab. So it's how you prepare yourself mentally as well as when you go into the nets. I remember speaking to Gavaskar Saab, one of the finest opening batsmen the game of cricket has seen in the last 60, 70 years. And my thought at the back of the mind was when I practice in the nets, my match starts in the nets, not in the middle when you're playing the real match. When you have 8 bowlers in the nets, or 6 bowlers in the nets, or 10 bowlers in the nets, most of them are bowling 2 yards ahead of the popping crease. They're bowling no balls. Some of the batsmen complain, I never, because I was getting 180 miles free of charge in the nets from my teammates. And I prepared myself for that. There were no helmets. I was always wearing a cap, so I'm wearing one today as well. There was no helmets. So back of the mind, what I had when I went into the nets, I wore my pads was, I am not going to get out. And my coach in the club gave me just 8 to 10 minutes. When I came into first class cricket, since Surendra Khanna, 12 minutes. Or maybe I could coax the net in charge, couple of rounds more, 15 minutes. Out nahi hona hai. But if you want to get 100 or a double 100, you have to bat the whole day. So if you get out 10 times, 6 times, 4 times in the nets, how will you get 100 in the match? It's very simple. I'm making it very simple to whosoever is listening to us or watching us, that basic in the nets, when you start, when you wear your pads, thigh pad, helmet, gloves, that I'm not going to get out. That should be the motive. And when you stay at the crease, some edges will go to third man, some inner edges will go to fine leg, and people commentating will say, "Arey, what a flick shot! Oh, what a steer!" Whereas the batsman knows कि again swing की edge लगा फिर वहां चलेगी. So your determination, job at hand, understanding that this is not T20, this is not 50 overs, this is 90 overs a day test match cricket. The ball is swinging, let's leave more balls and play lesser balls which are there to be played. Play lesser strokes, play the only stroke you are sure of in Australian condition, that is the cut and the pull, or a real half volley, which comes to you right in your stumps, not outside the off stump. Because if you're playing away from the body, even a swinging half volley can go to slips or to the gully. So it's your mental tune-up comes in, the temperament we say, the technique, the staying power, and of course backing yourself, having the confidence, and punishing the bad ball. The art of batting is punishing the bad ball. And as a bowler, the basic of line and length. Rest the wicket will do the trick, or bowl 2 dot balls, the batsman will help you by playing a stupid shot. And your fielders have to be on their toes all the time when the ball is swinging. Because if you drop a good player, he may not give another chance, be it pink ball cricket or white ball cricket. Like Virat Kohli, Australians dropped him a few times and they suffered. I remember Brian Lara, he was dropped once, he got 500. Graham Gooch, Kiran More dropped him in England, 333. So the great players, even in tough situations, if you drop them, simple sitters, they punish you for that. I credit both the teams and all the players who are playing these days. I'm not critical of them because the pandemic situation all over the world, when so many people are dying, and it's very, very, great on the parts of cricket boards and the players. They are being brave. I'm sure Wing Commander will agree, and Kanishka as well. We're sitting at home and we are analyzing their performances when they're far away. And the crowds are on the ground as well. We give credit to Australians for making it corona-free in their stadiums and in their states. We should learn from them. And once again, for Vijay Divas, badhai to all our soldiers, salute to all of them who lost their lives, and they keep us safe every day at the borders. A big salute to them, and to Virat Kohli for taking his paternity leave. Well done, son. And to Williamson, sorry, not Robinson, Williamson, the New Zealand captain. And I see a great contest happening. It may not last 3.5, 4 days. It's up to the batsmen and the bowlers to play good cricket. Adelaide is a beauty of a wicket, and I'm sure the batsmen will do justice because they are always under pressure when the pink ball is in operation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Khanna, for giving so much detailed reply to my simple question that the 5 bowlers are there in the ICC ranking. Now my question goes to Wing Commander Arjeet Ghosh. Wing Commander, when Advocate Kanishka says that this is a thing, pink ball matches have started because to attract more and more crowds, more and more eyeballs, then why India was reluctant to play? Although India was always in lead whenever there is a more crowd or more eyeballs, whether on social media or on the television channel. The example is the IPL. So why they were reluctant to play the pink ball test matches? Wing Commander Ajit Ghosh, please.
Sab, I think India, as you yourself mentioned, we started playing pink ball matches way back in 1997 itself. I mean, that Ranji Trophy final, which Khanna sir also talked about. So it's not that we were reluctant to play under lights in long format cricket, but you see, as far as watching cricket in India is concerned, I think we really don't have a problem with that because even in test matches, you have a test match, you can fill up a stadium. I mean, even if you have a Bangladesh versus Sri Lanka match or something like that, you'll probably fill up a stadium in India. So we never really had a problem with the number of people actually wanting to watch cricket because, as Kanishka ma'am also said, cricket is like a religion to us. It is every out of the 1.2 billion population that we have, I think 1 billion people are cricketers in some way or the other. Either they've played or they've watched or they're followers or whatever it is. So as far as following cricket, watching cricket, interest in cricket in India is concerned, I think there's never been a problem. So we probably did not feel the need to do it. And if you see, BCCI typically has been a little resistant to change in traditional ways and methods of playing cricket. So if we were probably one of the last test playing countries which accepted the DRS system as well. So it is probably because of that, and when the current board president Saurav Ganguly came in as a BCCI president, he playing this pink ball thing was probably one of his own, one of the things that he had very high on his agenda when he assumed the office, and so he got that match down to Eden Gardens, and that is how it happened. Until then, as you rightly mentioned, we were probably the 9th country who actually went on to play a pink ball test. So it's not that we were, we wanted to resist it, but I think it was just a mental sort of. We're not really prepared to accept that change because, as I said, we really didn't need that kind of extra following. We already had that in India. So that's what I feel about it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Wing Commander Ghosh.
I just want to add, test match numbers were going down. Hardly anybody to watch test match cricket in Delhi. 2,000, 3,000 on a given day. If Tendulkar is batting in the morning, I would also like to go and watch at Kotla Firozshah that he'll get 100. Otherwise, the numbers were dwindling. Let's accept it. And that's why the pink ball and the innovations came in. In Australia, in England, in South Africa, New Zealand, The grounds can hold about 20,000 people, 22,000, 24,000. So you feel that the stadiums are full. If at Eden Gardens, you have 40,000, even then the ground is empty. At Melbourne, if you have 40,000, the ground looks empty. So when we talk about crowds on daily number, like we have IPL, people pay and come. In test matches, the state associations, they fill certain stands by giving free tickets to the schools, and the young children come in large numbers. That's one way of giving the youngsters a day out at the cricket ground, and many of them aspire to become Kohli, Ganguly, Tendulkar, Bedi, Kapil Dev, and so forth. But England, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, they play more test matches than subcontinent teams. We play more of T20 and one-day cricket. In the last 20 years, if you pick up India's calendar, you'll see more of T20s and one-days than test matches. We play, I think, 5 or 6 in a year, whereas Australia, when they have a series with England, it is 6 test matches. They have with New Zealand, minimum 4. So that way they play more test matches than us.
Now, my question to you, Advocate Tyagi, first thing is, just in a brief, just explain what is sports law expert. Our viewers are definitely want to know what is sport. We have a criminal law expert, a civil law, but this is a new terminology called sport law expert. Can you just say one? Second, my question is, that is also very brief. Can Virat Kohli would have done this same thing if he would have been playing in IPL? Advocate Tyagi, please.
This second question is very tricky and difficult to answer. The first one is fairly easy. Well, like any field of life, your civil life, your criminal, I won't say life, but criminal side of society, sports is also impacted by a number of laws. There are intellectual property involved in sports with IPL, Big Bash League, intellectual property of the teams who play, intellectual property of the league itself, and then there are intellectual property of the player himself. Virat Kohli is a brand name, so biggest aspect about sports law is intellectual property, and then there are laws to protect it. And also there are other aspects when it comes to contracts between players and federations, players and leagues, and players and boards. That is contractual law. That is when the contractual law comes into play. Then there are other aspects related to sports, and one very important aspect is doping and anti-doping laws. So which doping is a menace which impacts all the sports. Another thing which comes under sports law is dispute resolution, because time and again in every field of life disputes are bound to happen between player and federations and federations. So
it's a very paying field, I'm sure. But the second question, can you just say yes or no? He would have left the IPL also for the paternity leave or not?
I think the wife would have traveled to Dubai and got registered in a Dubai hospital.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we got the answer. We got the answer what we were looking for. So today you have seen the experts' views about the pink ball test, which is going to take place from tomorrow. And everyone is having view that, yes, we have 50-50 chances, but the edge is with India. So let's hope. Again, we will use the same terminology, Shak the India. Thank you very much for giving your views. And today's program is live telecasted by V4 News, Global TV, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV, News Gaon se, Samvad Sarokar News, as well as it was shown live on Facebook and YouTube. And our endeavor is to bring to you every day current topic, a new topic. And tomorrow, media conference with Lal Goel. The topic is 2020 dietitians' views. Because as you know, that the 2020, because of the COVID-19, the persons who have earned maximum are the dietitians. So we will take their views as well as how they have coped up with this COVID-19 pandemic. And our panelists are Dr. Rajiv Anand, Senior Psychiatrist, Mumbai. We have Ms. Mehak Makhija, Consulting Medical Nutritionist from Mumbai. We have Miss R.D. Neha Kawa, National Registered Dietitian and Nutritionist, Mumbai, as well as Miss Ishita Praful Nishar, visiting faculty, D.Y. Patil University, Mumbai. So please tune in tomorrow for media conference with Lal Goel at 10:30 a.m. Thank you very much, Mr. Surendra Khanna. Thank you very much,
Thank
Wing
you,
Commander
Lalka,
Ghosh.
for having
Thank
me.
you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Have a good day.